So my studio is like divided like in two sides. I have my entire modular space, analog space, which is in the back, and all the rest here in front of you is like digital. I think it was during Corona time, and I just jumped on modular synthesis, and it was so inspiring, and I learned a lot more about how synths work, as you need to make your own synth. Like every component you have separately, and you can wire and connect them, make wonderful patches. And that really inspired me to do like more investment on that part. It's just this experimentation which I really love, go back and forth between digital and analog, especially modular. That gave me a lot of inspiration. I just love to mangle all different type of sounds and try to mess with them as much as possible, because I don't really like normal sounds. I really like to get them out of the context of its natural structure. So what I'm doing a lot, especially in my DAW, it's like I'm trying to stretch everything, or like tweak and modulate a lot, and putting a lot of effects on it to really get like something different, because I really like a deeper sound, or like sounds you didn't heard before. And I think that's really the essence of my sound, to bring something different. And it took me a long time to really get to this point where I am now. So I really restructured my entire studio, and I really kept like the pieces that I use the most and were like, okay, this is really functional. So I really made my entire studio like connected. So every in and out is like connected to a 2-patch base in my rack. So I can easily like patch connections. Like I can just go from channel 1 to from my sound card. I can go like out to my modular, or I can say, okay, I want to go through pedals, or I just want them get in the mixer, so I can tweak a bit and do some EQing, or like gain stage or whatever, or like render them through more analog gear. And it made stuff really interesting. I can just patch the equipment, make my own change. I can even send audio out from Ableton and put it in my modular and then go back. It gave me so much liberty and like so much more experimentation, which I really love, because the sound I'm doing is not really about making pop music or whatever. I like to try something different and test like limits and boundaries. And it took me quite some time, to get at this point where I really control all the gear which I'm having. My analog side in my studio is basically in the back. And I have another set of monitors down there. It's the Adam A7X, my reference monitors, which I have now for 15 years, and they still play like solid. And then in the front I have Adam A8H. But yeah, with all this gear I have here, I still have like Moog DFAM, which I really like for percussive sounds, which I combine sometimes with pedals. I really dig the Specular Tempest, because it's like a dual effect pedal, which has a really nice delays and really nice reverbs. So on my desktop, I like to work with the Electron modules. I really love the Cycles one. It's really an FM synth, which allows me to do again, like making stuff out of scratch, and then they go directly into my analog heat to just give it like more crunch and distortion, or saturate different partitions. And then I again record, and then I try to check what fits, and especially in Ableton, like I put the sounds then in the sampler, and then I try to come up with new ideas, or I put ARPs on it, or I try different effects, or just taking the entire sound out of context. One of my most essential tools, which I have here, is my TC Electronic Clarity device. I can't live without it. It's for me my most essential tool here in the studio, because it gives a total representation of everything that's going on in your track. EQ-wise, like the V-scope, it reads the entire track. If you solo a track, you directly see it, you know, especially for phasing issues and all that stuff. It's just a wonderful tool. You know, like being creative is not always that it comes from itself. Sometimes I can have weeks that I'm just doing something around here, just experimenting and just not really writing a track out, but I'm just having fun with everything I have in here. Okay, there is a lot of stuff, but it doesn't mean that you have a lot of gear that you're gonna make better music. Especially, you know, like making better music. It's a headache sometimes to just connect everything, because you need to keep in mind, you know, like Eurorack levels are different than line levels. And then you need to take care of, okay, is this mono, is this stereo, and okay, is this connection going there? You know, it's a lot of hassle, but for me it's worth it, you know. But at the end, you know, the most powerful tool to make music is just your mind.